front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside, and Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
He's trying, there's contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to MaxSpeedTV. You got Chris and Rick up here in the booth. How's everyone doing tonight?
Well, Rick, I hope they're doing really good because here we are in Las Vegas, and man, is that track hot, Rick? Tell us all about it.
Oh, it definitely is, buddy. Let's see. Right now, we have the air temperature at 74 degrees, Chris. That track is sitting at about 103 degrees. We know that after practice and qualifying, it is going to cool down a little bit, but right now it is nice and warm and slick. And the winds are coming out of the west at about 8 miles per hour. Tonight, we have a pit road speed limit of 50 miles per hour. That pace car, during pacing laps, will be doing about 60. And here we are in Las Vegas, baby.
No broadcast.
I'm being told there's no broadcast sound.
Rick, double check that, please.
I'm hearing it on my end.
Okay, that's what I was hoping you would say. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're in Las Vegas, and as Rick said, temperature right now on track, 103 degrees Fahrenheit. At the beginning of practice, Rick, I was seeing about 98 degrees, so up 5 degrees just by these guys running around the track, getting some practice going. Man, this is going to be a scorcher here tonight. Listen, guys, we've got about, well, we're going to tell you, 3 minutes, 40 seconds left to practice. We're going to get qualifying here in just a few moments. And, Rick, I've been watching these guys practice. They are getting extremely close to the walls in turn 4. They're making a diamond approach that I've seen, and it works, but boy, you have to be really, really careful.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, that is something that a lot of drivers like to do on this track. But like you said, you have to really keep your concentration because that wall comes at you pretty quick as you're coming out of 4. And you know as well as I do, if you tap that wall, you're going to A, lose momentum, B, you're going to have a chance to be spinning out this car. And but that's exactly what these guys are doing. They're laying down the rubber up there. They're trying to get that track state just the way that they want it and get ready for the race.
And what a race we had last week. We're going to bring up the point standings, Rick. And we've had some pretty big changes, but that's kind of common towards the beginning of the season. James Miller launches himself up into first place with 87 points. Kevin G in second. Austin, Matt Gruenberg, Troy, Vic Bloom, Gabriel Isk, Steve Zarvasis, Eric Lyda, and Jake McDonald round out the top 10. And then you've got Dante Jackson, Austin Derbyshire, Jeffrey Fisher, Dame Newsom, Thomas Wagner up quite a bit after the first week, Armando Ortiz, Shane DiMontova, Kevin Foster, Nick Vaughn, and Nick Alford. Rick, it's early on in the season, but really you can't be not concerned with the points, no matter how early in the season it is.
No, definitely, Chris. I mean, that's one thing that these guys realize, and they have to realize, especially the new drivers that are coming in here. You know, you're not only racing for a win. You got to kind of put that out of your mind. I mean, everybody's out there to race for a win, but this early in the season, and it's a long season too, Chris. You know, what you want to do is you want to start racing for points. You know, every bonus point, every point that you can possibly get to go. I mean, like you said, there was a couple big movers. Matt Gruenberg last week, he won at Hotlanta, Chris. He moved up 17 positions, like you said, into 4th position. We had 2 guys that dropped down 14 positions, 1 guy that dropped down 13. So there's been a lot of moving in the points. And when it's early, you know, that's the time when you really want to go after everything and try to settle it up just so you're ready for that championship race.
Absolutely. And more ground can be made up, certainly, in the early part of the season. Now, this is a long season, and I'll give you that, but it's certainly better to be out there and consistent earlier on. Definitely sets the mood for the rest of the season, and that's exactly what these guys are looking to do. Speaking of getting ready to set the mood, they are finishing up with practice. About 50 seconds left here, and it looks like James Miller, your current points leader, on top of the speed chart. His best lap so far, Rick, a 32.80. Not to be outdone, Austin Derbyshire has also laid down a 32.80, so you want to talk about some close racing out there. We've got it here tonight in the Relentless Racing Series.
I'm excited to see Jason Jacoby in the number 88. He's making his return back here tonight, Chris. Also, again, like you said, really close. He's so far got a lap time in practice of 30.356. So in about 14 seconds, we're going to see what that carries over to along with qualifying. So, and then the race. And, you know, tonight you are right. You know, we are looking at about we're having stage racing, obviously, here. So the first stage is going to be at lap 30, and then we're going to have another one at around lap 60. Now, that fuel run, Chris, we talked earlier with driver of the number 43, Thomas Wagner. Fuel run is about 27 laps, so it's going to get real interesting to see.
Yeah, 27 laps. That's not quite to the first stage. So certainly we could see, if we go green flag, we'll see them hit pit road under green, and that definitely makes it interesting, something to watch out for as we get ready to go to qualifying. Looks like Thomas Wagner going to be first up. And what's going on? Computer. No, this seems to be an iRacing issue on my end.
Well, give a little rundown as the guys are as you're trying to figure that out right now. But yes, Thomas Wagner is out there on track. He is in a different paint scheme this week with the Air Force livery on that car. That number 43 looks beautiful, and he is out there making his first qualifying lap.
Yeah, Rick, it looks like iRacing decided not to bring me qualifying, so we're going to step away. We'll come back with the results of qualifying as soon as they are done, or if I can get it working in the meantime. We'll be right back. We are back live. Troubleshot the problem. Thomas Wagner in the 43 car has the pole as of right now, Rick. And things are going to get loud tonight here in Las Vegas.
Oh, they definitely are, man. I mean, this track's a fun track to drive, Chris, right now. These guys running those good times. Like you said, Thomas Wagner, as of right now, has that pole. Qualified with a lap of 30.354. Followed by the number 74, Wesley Whitfield right now. Sitting in second with a 30. Oh, nope. Wow, Wade. Here we go. It's coming in. Wade Husted. I'm not sure if we're saying your name right, Wade. We'll talk to you eventually, and we'll get that all figured out. But somebody who's new to the league here, driving the number 32 car, Chris, just qualified with a 30.303. That is a fast lap.
That is moving. And speaking of moving, we're on board. Jason Jacoby, the 88 machine. Jason getting ready to start his qualifying attempt here. Las Vegas is the track. We've got 6 minutes left to try and qualify these cars. Only 6 so far have qualified. Jason Jacoby really trying to get it done. That 88 sounded awesome off from the concrete walls here at Las Vegas. Rick, this is good stuff.
Oh, it definitely is, Chris. I don't know if you have a chance to check out Jason Jacoby's YouTube address. I don't have it right here, right now in front of me, but the kid's got a sweet setup. He's very blessed and thankful for everything that he has, man. And it's good to see him back out here on the track. I missed him there the last couple of weeks. Right now, he is sitting in second with a qualifying lap of a 30.334. Not quite exactly where he wants to be to try to catch up to Wade, but right now He's doing his second lap, so we'll see what happens. Chris, he's getting close to coming out of 4, and now he's heading down into the front stretch and across the start-finish line. And he did a little bit better that time at 30.329. Still in second place right now. That fast lap of Wade in that number 32 machine with a 30.303 might be the time to beat tonight, Chris.
Yeah, that 303 is one quick lap. Now we go on board the 45 machine, Troy Leonard. And Troy is about ready to start his lap. Coming through 3 and 4. What a shot we have for you tonight. Hoping to have some superior camera angles for you guys to check out all of the action here tonight at Las Vegas. Troy Leonard bringing that 45 across the start-finish line in 8th place on the speed chart. That's a 35.28. 0.2 of a second off from the pole sitter so far, Wade Houston.
Last week's winner, Chris, Matt Grutenberg in that number 54 machine, qualified with a 30.330. He's sitting in 3rd place right now. Thomas Wagner fell back down to 4th. We got Kevin Jeterich in the number 6 so far in 5th. Austin Devonshire in the 64 is sitting in 6th right now. We'll see what Troy can do. It looks like he might stay 8th place, Chris.
Yeah, Troy looks like his last lap time will actually a little bit slower than the first one. A 36.05 on the last lap. A 35.28 is what got him to 8th on the starting grid so far, Rick. So these guys really are pushing. And speaking of pushing, we're back on board. The 54, Matt Gruenberg, had a really fine first lap. Only 1/10,000th of a second away from Jason Jacoby. A 33.31. Wow.
That track's getting settled in, Chris. We're in for a good race tonight. We got 120 laps here at Las Vegas for the Luxor Hotel and Casino. We're excited about that. Next week, February 8th, we're going to be heading over to one of my favorite tracks, Dover International Speedway. And we got some Martinsville action. We're going to be taking a week off. And one race that's going to be kind of interesting, Chris. March 1st, we're heading to New Smyrna Speedway. That's going to be fun. Pocono and then Charlotte. And that's what we have so far on the schedule.
Gonna be good times. It's all brought to you by the Relentless Racing Series, presented by us here on MaxSpeedTV, trying to get it done here on a Friday night. Join us on MaxSpeedTV every single night. We've got something going on. Rudy, KR, who am I missing?
Roger.
I mean, Keith. The list goes on and on of talent that you can see here on MaxSpeedTV. Make sure to give us a like. Hit that notification bell. We want to see you in our chat every single night. Gruenberg really lighting this track up. What a line he is running in that 54 machine. Having fun out there, it looks like. As he is just on fire out there.
He is on fire. I'm wondering if he's just putting down a little extra there, pace laps there, Chris, or test laps, just to see what's going on. I mean, right now, so far, we are in race number 3 of this season. We have 2 winners. Kevin Jeterich won the first race at Daytona International Speedway last week, as we saw. Matt Gruenberg won Hotlanta with a fabulous run there, Chris. Let's see if tonight's going to be the first 2 time, or if we're going to be adding another new driver to that list of winners.
Oh, it's very possible. We could definitely see a new winner tonight. James Miller, current points leader, out on track, getting ready to start his qualifying attempt. 15 other drivers have done so already. James Miller looking to try and qualify the number 25 up towards the pole. Lap number 1 of his 2-lap qualifying attempt. James Miller hits 7th place with a 30.435. Looking to improve on that is James Miller as he's going down the backstretch. 1.5 mile long track here, Rick. I don't think we've talked about that, but 1.5 mile, you're going to see a little bit on the drafting, but really, this one's on you. Got to hit those marks every single lap, and that will get you to the finish line. James Miller not up to 7th with a 34.40, slightly better than his first lap.
Yeah, that's one thing that's definitely going to be coming into play here, Chris, tonight is, I mean, the drafting does happen on this track, but it's not really a super speedway. It's just kind of a speedway. So a lot of it comes down to driver talent on how you're going to do. I mean, passing is going to be interesting as we see in practice and here in qualifying, those guys coming out of 4, they're right up against the wall. That's kind of the danger zone, like I kind of like to call it here in Vegas as we're getting ready to grid, Chris.
Yeah, you have to be very careful. One misstep and you will find the outside wall. It's hot, so it definitely gets slippery out there. I do want to go ahead and this is going to be our top 10 of starting next Friday night. Dover International Speedway, 180 laps, as Rick alluded to. Sunday night, join Rick and I at Talladega. But right now, these guys are getting ready to go. And man, oh man, listen to those motors tonight, Rick. This thing is sounding good. We're going to fire off and get ready to go down the grid in just a quick moment. Starting on the pole, in first position, Wade Husted in the 32 car. On the outside, first row, Jason Jacoby in the 88. On the inside, third row, Matt Gruenberg. Outside, fourth place has not hit the grid yet, so that's not going to work. We're going to go over here and do it this way. Matt Gruenberg third. Thomas Wagner going to be fourth. Kevin Gieterich is going to be starting 5th in the 6 car. In the 64, it's going to be Austin Derbyshire in the Toyota. James Miller going to be starting in 7th place. Wesley Whitfield in the 74 starting 8th. Eric Lyda 9th. Troy Leonard 10th, Rick.
And we got Logan Sevens in that number 70 machine going to be starting 11th. Followed next to Vic Bloom in the 77. We got Jake McDonald in the 15th, going to be 13th. We got Stephen Dean in that number 55, going to be qualified number 14th. Jeffrey Fisher, Haley's out there rooting you on. Number 60 is going to be starting in 15th position tonight, Chris. We got Dante Jackson in 16th, Gabriel Esk in 17th, Armando Ortiz, and then number 24 is going to be starting 18th, Austin Burway 19th, and Dame Newsome in 20th.
That is how these cars get ready to start this race. Heading down the back stretch, pace car lights are off, getting set for the green flag. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Las Vegas. We're about to get it going.
We're just a few laps away, Chris. We got a lot of laps here, 120 tonight. We're gonna find out who has Lady Luck on her side. But these guys here at Relentless Racing Series at Las Vegas for the Luxor Hotel and Casino 180.
These guys definitely ready to duke it out. Pace car drops off, getting set for the green flag. Wade Husted, welcome to the Relentless Racing Series. You go, boy. 32 with the early advantage over Jason Jacoby in the 88. He heads into turn 1, taking up the middle road. The 54, Matt Gruenberg, looking for second place over Jacoby. Gruenberg does take second by a little bit, and this race couldn't start any better as we dive down into turn 3. Halfway through 3 and 4 now, Rick, and Wade Husted looking to lead his first lap here with the Relentless Racing Series, going down the front stretch. These guys are diving all over the place, getting this one ready to go. Wade Husted, you just led your first lap here, Rick.
He definitely did, Chris, but right now he's got that number 88, Jason Jacoby, Jacoby on his tail, trying to figure out a way around a couple other guys that have been thrown into the mix. The 43, Thomas Wagner, we saw him blink there a little bit, Chris, but it looks like the connection has finally settled. He's moving up to third and to the back bumper, that number 88. We also have Matt Greenberg, James Miller, Kevin Jeterich, Eric Lyda, all starting the race, trying to figure out what to do. Right now we have Austin Divershire in that number 64, Chris. He's going on the inside of the number 33 of Eric Lyda, trying to take over that position, which will be number 7. But Lyda gets a really good run, is able to hold him off for right now.
James Miller trying to figure out a way to get around Thomas Wagner. Miller sitting in third spot. Thomas Wagner with an excellent job so far, sitting in third. Miller started in 7th up to 4th already in this very young race, Rick.
You're absolutely right, Chris. And look who's trying to take over second place right now. That's Thomas Wagner, the number 43 US Air. Ooh, we got a blink going on here. And he's able to hold it right where he wants to be. Jacoby probably saw that, backed off just a little bit. But right now, Thomas Wagner trying to move into that second position. But Jason Jacoby's not going to give it up that easy, Chris. Right now, I'm going to move over to Jacoby, see exactly what's going on here.
Thomas Wagner has to be careful, Rick. He is blinking, and we're setting up, almost going 3 wide behind him. James Miller looking to try and get ahead of him right now. Goes to the outside with Jason Jacoby. Miller is on the hunt with these young tires.
Yeah, he definitely is, Chris. That number 25 has been just moving up as much as he can. Started 7th, sitting in 4th position right now. He's ready to tie it on with these guys. See if he can catch up to Wade in that number 32.
Jason Jacoby on the outside gets around Thomas Wagner for second spot. James Miller looking to take advantage as well. Miller to the outside has advantage. Thomas Wagner blinking out again. Whoa, Thomas Wagner sneaks up in front. Matt Gruenberg goes, whoa, where did you come from? Gruenberg trying to go back around but can't do it. And now he does, as Thomas Wagner got into the wall just a little bit. You saw some sparks, Rick.
Yeah, he definitely went up into the wall just a little too hard, Chris. He did hit it. I mean, not too hard, but just enough to throw some sparks, and he lost a lot of momentum there as the 43 falls back just a little bit there to the bottom of that pack of cars there that's going on. I'm checking in with Jeffrey Fisher. He started 15th, Chris. He's sitting in 10th place right now. He's trying to work on the number 70 of Logan Simmons.
Jeffrey Fisher looking to have a really good night tonight. Could use it, as he is sitting in 13th place in the point. So Jeffrey Fisher looking to have a solid night here in Las Vegas, rolling the dice, as it were, trying to get around that 70 car of Logan Simmons. On board. Oh, I'm sorry, Rick. I had gone to the 74 of Wesley Whitfield. He seems to be leading. I don't want to call him the backpack, but that's kind of what it is right now. He's got Armando Ortiz and Troy Leonard right behind him. Armando Ortiz looking to try and take advantage. He goes down to the inside, under the white line for the pass.
Ortiz is on his way up, Chris. He started 18th, and now he is sitting in 12th position. Doing a good job as he's moving up through the pack. Had a really good run there, and you're going to see that. It's kind of interesting how these guys do. I just saw a really slow car, Chris. I believe it was a 33 of Eric Lyda. Fell back. He is 2 laps down and he scored right now. Not exactly sure what happened there.
A very impressive start to this race as we're on lap 10 of 120. Wade Houston has led every single lap in that 32 car. Jason Jacoby behind him in the 88 with 3rd place under attack. Miller had it. Jeterich wants it. And Jeterich had it for just a second. Miller fighting back on the inside in the 25. The 54 of Matt Gruenberg right there behind the 6 of Kevin Jeterich. These guys battling it out like it's the last lap. Here we are on lap 11. These 3 cars for position, and that position is 3rd spot right now. Kevin Jeterich seems to have it, Rick.
Yeah, absolutely right, Chris. Now, that's one thing that, usually we try to stress the drivers, and the league owners try to stress the drivers, take it easy on these first beginning laps. But here you can't do that, Chris. We're under stage racing. Every point matters. You know, you get the most points for being first, you get the least points for being 10th. After that, you don't get anything. These guys are definitely racing for position. I mean, we're on lap 12 right now of 120. As we talked about earlier, the first stage is going to be ending at lap 30. These guys also have to try to get that track position that they really want, Chris, because they're going to have to probably come in for the pit stop before that ends, especially if we stay under green. But right now, Kevin Jeterich got a lot of pressure from the inside from the number 25 machine of James Miller right now, as they're both trying to catch up to the number 54.
Matt Gruenberg in the 54 taking sole possession now of third place. Wade Houston up front, still by himself, opening up a little bit of a gap now, 0.4 of a second over Jason Jacoby in the 88. James Miller, who was pushing just a little bit ago, back to fifth. Would definitely like to get around the 6 in the 54, back to third. He looks like he's starting to put a challenge on the 6 now. Kind of touched those left tires on the grass. He went so low there, Rick. Austin Derbyshire in the 64, kind of racing on his own out there. 6th spot. Jeffrey Fisher started 15th. He's worked his way up to 7th. Behind him, he's got the 43 of Thomas Wagner. Whoa, Wagner really had to check up there, had a little extra speed, but did so, and then he blinked. Thomas Wagner, the 43 car, getting around Jeffrey Fisher now. That puts Fisher back in the 8th spot. We go back to Armando Ortiz, who started that 24 car in 18th, has worked his way up to 10th now. And Armando Ortiz steadily trying to climb the ranks here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, he definitely is, Chris. Right now, we have somebody coming down pit road. It's going to be the number 25 of James Miller. We're on lap 16 of 120, Chris.
Yeah, these guys are ticking off the laps really fast. We're over halfway to the first stage. Lap 30. Man, oh man, they're just flying out there tonight, Rick. Good start to this race. I can't tell you how good of a start this has been. On board right now with the 15, Jake McDonald. Jake is currently in 9th. He started in 13th position in that 15 Toyota Camry. And he dives down below the white line, trying to take advantage of keeping the steering wheel as straight as possible. We've got one coming off from pit road, Rick. And I'm not sure, it may have been James Miller.
You are correct, Chris. I was watching, and I don't want to say too much about the service that James Miller did as we're starting some green flag pit stops. I'm not exactly sure if he came down and doing kind of a short pit strategy there. As we said, we're about halfway through that first stage. So right now the 25 is back out on track, is back out doing what he has to do to catch back up to the field. The car looks clean, so I think it was just a totally, a pit strategy that he's trying to do there in that number 25. It's going to be interesting to see what happens as he gets up to speed and does what he has to do. He's starting to catch that backpack, but right now he has one lap down, sitting in 17th position. Definitely. Looks like another person. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, it looks like maybe Jeffrey Fisher might have done the same thing, Chris, because he is one lap down also. He is back on track, and we're seeing him trying to catch up to that lead pack as he's coming off into 4, getting back into the front stretch.
Yeah, it definitely shows that he has been out there. So Miller and Fisher trying something a little bit different out there. A little early pit. Meanwhile, Wade Houston having a ride of his life as he is leading this one and has led all 18, make it 19 laps of this race. Houston up front, Jason Jacoby right behind him. Matt Gruenberg sitting in 3rd spot with Kevin Jeterich sitting in 4th spot. 5th spot, Austin Derbyshire. And then Armando Ortiz, who started this one 18th. Rick, he is up to 6th spot already.
Yeah, he is. Armando has been on a huge run, Chris, doing what he has to do, picking his way through that field. And he's doing a great job. Like you said, he qualified 18th. He's sitting in 6th right now, doing everything he can to try to get into that top 5 there. Right now, I mean, he's looking at some good extra bonus points anyway for just being in the top 10 as we're getting about 9 laps away from that first stage flag that'll be coming out. But Armando Ortiz, he is definitely on the move.
The 33 car, Eric Lyda, was down several laps at the start of this one. Did not catch the green flag, but he is out there now, and he is making some passes as Eric Lyda, sitting currently 19th, 3 laps down. Look for him to try and get those laps back as this race continues on. Lap 22 of 120, and we've got the first stage, just about 8 laps to go, Rick.
Yeah, and we're really getting close to that pit window, Chris, now. As we already noticed, a couple of drivers have come down pit road. I do know that those guys are teammates with AV SimSport, so it's just going to be kind of cool to see what happens there. James Miller was the first one in, Jeffrey Fisher went in, Eric Lyda's there too. He is showing 3 laps behind right now, but doing everything he can to help his teammates.
Wade Houston up front, Rick. He has led 22 every single lap of this one so far with Jason Jacoby. Jason started in second spot. He's still there. He actually fallen back a little bit and was able to come back to second. So Jason Jacoby running in second spot. Matt Gruenberg, he started third. He is third after some early shuffling. Kevin Jederich is started in 5th spot. Rick currently he's in 4th, so he's moved up 1 position. Of course, the closer to the front you go, the harder positions are to come by.
Well, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, these guys, they have some top runners there in the front. I mean, we've seen Jason Jacoby from last season do a very good job. We've got Matt Gruenberg, who has won a few times here with the league. Kevin Jederich, so these guys are doing what they have to do. They're no strangers to being up front. Right now, Wade with his first race here with the Relentless Racing Series, putting on a really good show though, Chris. I mean, he definitely put some practice time in this week, did what he had to do. That number 32 is looking pretty strong right now. We're on lap 25 of 120, so in about 5 laps we're going to be having that first stage. That could change things up though.
Oh, I fully expect it to. Absolutely. But before we get to that first stage, I want to go on board with Wade and take a look at a lap here in Las Vegas. You see he was down below the white line, takes it up towards the wall about midway through 1 and 2. You hear him feathering that throttle, getting set up to go down the backstretch. He'll go up close to the wall again as he tries to build speed for that all-important turn 3. Turn 3, he's down a little bit lower than he was in turn 1, almost to the white line, comes out towards the wall, and then back down underneath that white line to complete a 1.5 miles. Guys, did you blink more than 10 times? I doubt it. He is flying around this track. Absolutely amazing speed coming out of this car up front, the 32, Wade Houston.
Jacoby's doing everything he can, it seems, Chris, to try to catch up to him, just not able to do it there. I mean, he catches a little time there as they enter the corner, but as soon as they straighten out, things happen. Right now, it looks like they're both peeling off.
Peeling off, and they did it in a hurry. The 88 Jacoby hard on the brakes. You saw the smoke coming off the tires. Wade Houston gives up the lead to come down pit road on lap 27, make it 28 of 120, giving up the potential to win the very first stage of his first race here at Relentless Racing Series. Matt Gruenberg in the 54 may have been saving some fuel trying to win this one. Matt Gruenberg, you know what? We're going on board because Matt Gruenberg may have saved some fuel sitting there in 3rd spot before the leaders came down pit road, Rick. And if that's what he did, oh, look at this. Way before corner entry, hits that clutch, drops it down, and we're under caution. Matt Gruenberg is the race leader, and I've got to find that caution.
Yeah, it definitely was not posted by Race Control, Chris.
It looks like it may have been Thomas Wagner in the 43, Rick. We're going back on the MaxSpeedTV replay. Oh, yes! Thomas Wagner trying to avoid somebody in the middle lane. Took a hard right-hand turn right into the wall. Absolutely pancaked that Ford Mustang. Man, the damage is very substantial. Do we see the Wagner crab walk? We may. 43 very beat up as we go back to live racing. We are on lap 30. And we're going to have to get some sort of answer from race control. But I believe Matt Gruenberg to be the winner of the stage number 1 and an absolutely thrilling first stage.
It definitely was, Chris, and it really, really ticked off pretty quickly. And this is starting to look just like Atlanta, Chris. Last week, stage 1 winner, Matt Gruenberg. Stage 2 last week was James D. Miller. And, of course, the race winner, again, was the number 54 of Matt Gruenberg. So he's really good, and he's consistent with these races, Chris. He comes in here. He's usually right up front towards that first stage, doing what he has to do. But, yes, that is unfortunate for Thomas Wagner on the number 43 machine. Are we going to see the crab walk? I'm not sure. He's trying to come down pit road right now, Chris. Having a little bit of a hard time, but he did get in there. And I'm sure he's going to be going down for some service, let his pit crew work on some damage, maybe even use his only fast repair and see what happens.
Thomas Wagner hard into the wall. They do have one quick repair to use up. Hate to have to do it on lap 31 of 120, but that may very well be the case, Rick. I'm sure the steering not right on that number 43 car as Wagner absolutely knocked the daylights out of that outside retaining wall.
And it looks like the 43 still having some issues, Chris, sitting there still blinking quite a bit, even while he's on pit road.
We're taking a look right now. You can see the heavy damage to the 43. And now he is off track, back on track. He is having all kinds of issues trying to get on pit road as Thomas Wagner, he backed up, got in sideways again. Oh boy, that is not what you want to do on your first pit stop of the race. A real shame for Thomas Wagner, as Austin Derbyshire was being scored as your race leader. Derbyshire coming down pit road. Kevin Gierich in the 6 car will be the race leader when we get this one going again. He's going to be followed by the 88 car, it looks like, of Jason Jacoby, Rick. Although, I got to be honest, everything is changing. We're going to need one more lap to get scoring correct, as iRacing is a little bit slow sometimes reporting their scoring.
Especially when everything's so close like it has been, Chris. I mean, watching the leaders, Wade and Jacoby, come down pit road to do their service, let me tell you, their pit crews were working on the same speed, man, because as soon as those jacks dropped, those cars came right off, nose to tail once again. So they did what they had to do, had a really good pit stop. Got a little bit of ground to make up, but we'll see what happens. But yes, you are correct. It is going to take a little bit right now. We are showing the number 6 still in the lead right now. Kevin Gierich getting ready to lead these folks around Las Vegas.
Every single car has come down pit road. The leader before, well, I guess at lap 27, he came down on 28. Wade Houston in the 32. Wade is sitting in front of the race leader because he is going to take a wave around. Currently being scored in 6th spot. Jason Jacoby also looks like he is going to be taking the wave around. So Kevin Gierich is your race leader. He's being scored in 1st spot. We're going to make sure that nothing changes. Caution lights are coming off the pace car as we get set to go back to green flag racing. Cars doing a drive around have a mile and a half to catch up to the back of the field. And Rick, Kevin is up front in that 6 car trying to lead some more laps of this one. He has led 2 so far. And Matt Gruenberg in the 54 going to be starting on the outside. Matt has led 4. One of them counted more than the rest. That was for stage 1.
Yeah, absolutely right, Chris. But let me tell you, Kevin Gierich has a lot of pressure and a lot of talent sitting there next to him and behind him. You got Matt Gruenberg, as you said, going to be starting on his outside in 2nd place. You got James D. Miller in that 25. He's sitting there ready to do what he has to do. Actually, all 3 of these guys know what it's like to be running up front. And like you said earlier, it's going to be a roll the dice, see what happens right now. Kevin Gierich in that number 6 machine, probably listening to his his spotter telling him, you know, take it easy. The lights are off on that pace car. Do what you have to do. Get ready to go, but go easy. Do not spin those tires.
The 16 car in the second row, Gabriel S. being scored 2 laps down, but pace car is down. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Kevin Gieterich hits the go button. We're back under green flag racing.
And there we are, Chris, in the number 25. James D. Miller's wasting no time putting pressure on that number 6 there, Chris. It's all going to be right now even. They're drag racing down through. You get 25 on the outside, looking like he's almost clear, and it looks like Matt Grunberg in the 54 is going to be following him on the outside, Chris, doing what he has to do as they come onto the backstretch heading into 3 and 4 right now. Right now, the number 54 does not have what it takes to get past that number 6. It might take a little bit longer here. He's getting into the lead here, see what he can do. But right now, that 6 is definitely holding his own and trying to keep second place, Chris.
James Miller up front. Matt Gruenberg right now in the 54. He's in second place on the outside. Kevin Gieterich on the inside moves up. He gave up position. Matt Gruenberg in the 54. Now in second spot. Started in third. Kevin Gieterich started in fifth. Running in third. We've got Dante Jackson in the 17. He's currently being scored in fourth position. And Austin Derbyshire. That 64 machine, Derbyshire, is running in fifth, rounding out that top 5. Miller with an impressive start to this one. After the green flag dropped after stage, James Miller absolutely launched that 25. Would not be deterred as he is heading into the corners right now. Coming back out onto the front stretch is James Miller looking to lead another one.
Now stage 1 is done, Chris. These guys are racing for stage number 2, which is going to be coming out around lap 60. As long as these guys stay green up until that point. Right now, Jeffrey Fish on the number 60 machine. Haley's out there watching. Jeffrey, you got to do what you got to do. He is the first car 1 lap down, Chris, so he has a little bit of time to make. He's got to try to pass the 6, the 54, and the 25 to be able to do what he has to do to get that lap back. And then he's going to make it all the way back around and try to go through the field again. But Jeffrey Fisher doing a good job out there. Right now, James Miller's just kind of putting a lot of time in between him and Matt Gruenberg, who is under pressure by the number 6. They drag race down into turn number 1, Chris. Number 6 is able to go on the inside and get around the number 54. But I have a feeling that Matt Gruenberg is going to be working his way back and doing what he has to do. Number 15 comes back out on the track. Also there, Jake McDonald. We saw him. He's sitting there 2 laps down right now in 18th position. But he is rejoining the race and getting back to the surface.
Yeah, Jake McDonald coming out, staying low though. Oh, Jake McDonald coming down pit road. James Miller up front, Gieterich in second. He's followed by Matt Gruenberg in the 54 machine. Behind them, the 17 of Dante Jackson and Wade Houston. After that restart, has made his way back up in the 5th spot. Rick, a lot of cars trapped 1 lap down because of how that caution flag came out. They were expecting to come down pit road under green flag conditions, and maybe they did, but when they came out, we were under yellow. We've got a lot of cars, 9th on back, trapped 1 lap down because of that caution flag.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. A quick rundown. James D. Miller is in first place, followed closely by Kevin Gieterich in that number 6 and second. Matt Gruenberg in third. Dante Jackson sitting in fourth. Wade Husted in that number 32 in 5th. Jason Jacoby is in 6th. Chris Austin Derbyshire in that number 64 is 7th. Dame Newsom in the 14th is 8th. Vic Bloom is running in 9th. Like you said, that first car 1 lap down. Jeffrey Fisher actually just reclaimed that spot there. So Jeffrey Fisher in 9th. Vic Bloom is rounding out the top 10.
Wade Houston has picked up another position as he is traveling forward, and he is trying to get around the 17 of Dante Jackson. Has him by a nose, and I think that one may stick as Wade Houston now up to 4th spot, going into turn number 1. Clear daylight now and for the 32 car, and he is looking forward to Matt Gruenberg. Gruenberg's got a little bit of a lead on him, as does Gieterich and Miller.
You're absolutely right, Chris. One thing that those guys have going for them is the number 24 of Armando Ortiz and also the 70 of Logan Simmons, putting a little bit of space in between those. That's one thing that Wade has to work pretty hard to get around these guys. They're battling it out, trying to keep themselves from going too far back on that being a lap down. Doing a good job, but right now that number 32, he wants to get back up to front, Chris. He wants to lead some more races, or some more laps.
Yeah, Wade Houston has led 26 laps of the 43 we've run so far, and he is definitely trying to get back up front. Armando Ortiz right now on the bubble, trying to hold him off, but cannot do it as Wade Houston gets around him at the start-finish line, way down below the white line. And that is perfectly fine here at Las Vegas. Just got to be careful making that transition back onto the racing surface. Wade Houston sitting in fourth spot. Armando Ortiz, and you know, Rick, we know Armando. I wouldn't want another guy behind me. He is a darn good driver, and certainly somebody that might be able to help draft you forward.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, we do have race experience with Armando Ortiz. It's good to see him here with the Relentless guys. Doing a fabulous job this season so far. Not exactly where he wants to be right now, sitting in 13th position, but he is definitely racing hard, and that is something that Armando likes to do, Chris. He doesn't give up, and he'll just keep on the battle until he can get to where he needs to be. And you're absolutely right, man. There's nobody out there that I'd want, you know, anyone else behind me, you know, because Armando is definitely a good teammate, will help anybody out, respectable driver. So it's good to see him out there doing what he has to do. Hopefully he can get his lap back and start battling for the lead.
Wade has the 70 car just in front of him. The 70 of Logan Simmons gets out of the way. He goes up to the high line, hits the wall for his efforts. Logan Simmons makes contact with the wall, sparks flying. And that's going to let the 17 go by, and possibly the 88 as well. He was trying to do a good thing and try and let Wade by him. Well, Rick, he did. Unfortunately, hit the wall, slowed himself down in the process.
Wait, no, Chris, from my experience driving, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, you can definitely run the high line here at Las Vegas, do what you have to do. But it's very, I don't want to say frustrating, but it's a lot of information that you're processing, because you're trying to look and see how close you are to the wall. You're kind of making sure that you're not in front of those guys that are doing what they have to do, you know, and you don't want to be the guy that takes somebody out and makes a caution happen. But one thing that happens that I've noticed is that if you sit there and you actually look at the wall for too long, your car's going to drift towards that wall. So that is something that you have to really kind of watch out. But when you're looking at 2-3 different things going out on the track, man, it gets a little crazy in your head, and you got to just try to make the right move. And unfortunately, he got a little close to the wall there. But it looked like he's going to be doing okay.
Okay, it is. And you know what else is okay? It's a crank it up.
All right, let's crank it up here in Las Vegas.
What a way to get this one going. We've got James Miller up front, the race leader. He's got Matt Gruenberg right behind him, battling it out now for the lead. Gruenberg on the back bumper of the 25 of James Miller, trying to figure out a way around him. Bumpers were locked going into 3 and 4. Separation on the front stretch. James Miller trying to get a little bit of a gap, trying to figure out a way to stay in front. Gruenberg just the opposite, trying to find a way around James Miller, taking a slightly different line, a little bit more to the inside, then tucks in right behind Miller down the backstretch. Going into 3 and 4, takes a slightly lower line to Gruenberg. Gruenberg trying to figure out a way to get around the 25. Oh,
That's okay. I was just saying, Gruenberg is no stranger to being up front, Chris, and these guys love to battle with each other. You know, the 54, the 25, we've seen this multiple times on multiple different racetracks, Chris, and it's always fun. Right now, Gruenberg looks like he's getting a really good run there on the inside, but as he catches up to the 25, they kind of even out a little bit. It's going to get interesting to see who's going to have the right line right now. The 25 way up on the wall there, Chris, coming into turn number 1. Got that momentum that he needs to put a little bit of space in between, but that 54 is still strong.
Matt Gruenberg has got to start getting a little bit frustrated or feeling that way, as he has tried a few laps now to try and get around Miller. Miller has answered it every single time, and he's done it on the outside line. Is definitely keeping momentum here in Las Vegas.
I don't know if I'd definitely say frustrated, Chris. I mean, right now, I bet you Matt Gruenberg and James Miller having a lot of fun, probably big smiles on their faces. Like I said, these guys like to battle it out, but they can't do it for too long because that number 6, Kevin Jeterich, he's starting to come into play, Chris. He's really getting up to that back bumper of the 54 machine. Right now, it's going to be real interesting to see what they can do here. Right now, Matt Gruenberg trying to get around the 25, still looks on the inside, not able to do it. As Gruenberg goes down onto the apron there, allows the number 6 of Kevin Jeterich to catch up a little bit there, get onto that back bumper. It's going to be interesting to see right now, but I bet you Jeterich and that number 6 machine is going to start working to get around, but right now he's got a lap car that's going to have a problem. Lap car stays up high, which forces everybody down into the inside line. And it looks like the 55 is that lap car right now, trying to do everything he has to do. That's Stephen Dean in that Rogue Energy, number 55. Right now being scored 2 laps down. He's trying not to go down 3. We only have 2 laps left before the end of the stage. Ooh, the 6 into the wall a little bit, loses a little bit of momentum there. As you can see, the number 25 and 54 pull away a little bit. Kevin Jeterich and the number 6 tap that wall just enough, just to lose a little bit of speed, but he's starting to gain it back now. But that is kind of fortunate right now. As we said, we're only 2 laps away, now 1 lap away from the end of stage number 2.
We are getting ready to end stage number 2, and does James Miller have the speed to hold on to the top spot? It's certainly looking that way as the gap opens up down the backstretch, heading into turn 3. The 54 goes down low, trying to figure out a way to get there. Not going to be able to do it is Matt Gruenberg as we go down the front stretch. James Miller going to win stage number 2 here tonight in Las Vegas.
Now the funny thing here is, Chris, is right now it's feeling a little bit of deja vu. I don't know about you, but last week in Atlanta, this is exactly what happened. Matt Gruenberg took stage 1, James Miller took stage 2. And we all know the winner last week, Matt Gruenberg in that number 54 machine.
Certainly has been an incredible race here tonight, and a great stage for Miller, as Miller has led 26 laps to tie up most laps led with Hostad. So James Miller getting it done in the 25, last season's champion, all over Las Vegas tonight.
I definitely want to take a moment, Chris, to thank everybody out there in MaxSpeedTV land that is out here enjoying Friday night with you, me, and the boys and drivers of the Relentless Racing Series here at Las Vegas. These guys are putting on one heck of a show tonight, and it is an honor to be here with you, Chris.
Oh, certainly, and it goes right back to you, Rick. And again, to thank all of the drivers and all of the race fans coming out, spending your Friday night with us here on MaxSpeedTV. We can't thank you enough. We're going to take a quick break now. We're going to be right back to start the last third of this race. We'll be right back.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Trunke goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Take it away, Rick.
All right, man. That was a good break, Chris. I don't know about you, but on that break right now, we're looking at the number 55 car, Stephen Dean, and what he has to do. And let me tell you, Chris, one thing that I did while we were on break there is I filled up my 24-ounce shaker cup of some beautiful Rogue Energy drink. If you guys like energy drinks, want to get away from the canned monsters and all that stuff, look up Rogue Energy, one of the best priced ones out there. It has a really good caffeine content, and the flavors are great, no chocolate flavors. So definitely head on over to rogueenergy.com and do what you have to do. It looks like that the race control has thrown the caution flag once again, Chris. I think they're just trying to even out the field, do what they have to do here, letting these guys catch up and do their thing. Right now it looks like James Miller is going to be starting in first. Next to him is going to be the number 54, Matt Grunberg. Kevin Jeter is going to be starting third. And somebody who's been working very hard to get up to where he is, Chris, the number 64, Austin Derbyshire. Now, you mentioned to me during that break, Austin came down one lap before everybody else. So that definitely helped him make up a couple of spots there. He did qualify in 6th here. Now he's sitting in 4th.
Track positions is going to be everything going into the last bit of this race. And we may have seen the very last caution of this race, Rick. These guys have been racing phenomenally tonight. And the 64 has worked his way up very well, sitting in 5th spot right now. Wade Houston, who started this race in 1st spot, looked like he was going to win the very first stage, had to come down pit road, and he ended up not leading that lap. But Wade right now back up to 4th spot in that 32 car. So he is definitely somebody to watch, as is the race leader, James Miller. 2nd place, Gruenberg, Gierich. I mean, come on. There's too many names to start listing. Certainly not going to list off any favorites. Out there in chat, I want to know who is going to win this race, because it has been absolutely awesome.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, everybody goes out to Las Vegas for the gambling and the shows, and let me tell you, these guys are putting on one heck of a show tonight. So far, we've only had 2 cautions, and those are the ones for the stages. And these guys, they're just doing a fabulous job here. We're on lap 65 of 120. It's going to get real interesting and real fun once those lights go up on that pace car, Chris. It takes that hard left-hand turn, and we get going again. We see a couple of cars getting their wave arounds, doing what they have to do to try to catch up to the back of the field. But right now, we're in for one heck of a show, buddy, and I am proud to be up here in the booth watching all this live with you and all our fans out there in MaxSpeedTV.
A really good move here by Race Control. They had a lot of cars that were kind of pushed back a lap because of a caution, and we won't get into all of that, but they let a lot of guys back around. We're going to have 16 cars on the lead lap when we go back green flag racing. Good call by the race admin. Good call by Race Control. The more you have fighting, the better the series. And boy, this series is awesome.
You're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, tonight, being Super Bowl weekend, I'm sure a lot of guys, usually we see a lot more cars out here on the track. I'm sure a lot of people are just getting ready for the big game on Sunday. And we've also had some really weird, crazy weather here in the U.S. with very cold temperatures and lots of snow, so I'm sure a lot of people are just not able to race tonight, trying to do a little bit of storm cleanup and get ready for the next. But you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, this is something that I'd love to see leagues do. Race Control's doing a great job trying to get everybody as they possibly can back on the lead lap to making it as exciting as they possibly can. There's still a lot of laps left, but as we've been seeing, man, that first 60 laps ticked off so fast. These guys are doing such a great job.
A good job they are, and the best job of all right now, James Miller, your race leader. The pace car lights are off. We don't know if we're going to go green again. We're going to have to wait for that, as it looks like if we do, Miller may be opting to the outside, possibly. Oh my, yeah, they are. They're starting to form up 2 by 2. Maybe too soon to go green. We don't know. Race Control doing what it needs to do in order to get these cars situated. Doesn't look like they're completely formed up yet. May go one more lap, and that wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. It gives me a chance to rest my voice, Rick. This series has a habit of taking my voice out. But pace car lights are off. We're going to go green as it is. The 25, James Miller, across the start-finish line. He is a race leader. Keep an eye on the 54, Matt Gruenberg, as he is to the inside trying to battle for the lead.
What's kind of cool, Chris, here we are. We're in the very, very sunshine state right now, but it looks like there's a little bit of cloud cover, so that track has cooled down a little bit. These guys on pace laps let their tires go. One guy who is happy about that is Matt Gruenberg. He is definitely trying to make that inside lane work, but right now that 25 is very fast on the outside, Chris. As they come out of 4 and head towards the start-finish line there, they both head down underneath the apron, do what they have to do, gain a little bit of speed there as they go into turn 1. Right now, nobody can catch Miller. He is fast in that number 25, but Matt Gruenberg is not giving up. They do have a little bit of a gap in between them and 3rd place right now. Kevin Jeterich running alongside with Jason Jacoby. Jason Jacoby's looking on the inside of the number 6, trying to do what he has to do to take over 3rd position. Can't make it happen right there, but he's definitely not going to be giving up, Chris.
Jason Jacoby in the 88 trying to get ahead of Jeterich. Unable to do it that lap, but he is in position. Right behind him, the 32, Wade Houston. Again, early on leader of this race. Led the first 28 laps or so of this race, Rick. couldn't quite seal the deal for the first stage victory, but man, that 32, it was fast early on, and I believe if given enough opportunity, that 32 may be in the hunt here again tonight.
Oh, he definitely is, Chris. He had a really good pace there at the beginning of the race, you know, leading all those laps that he did. But he's got some stiff competition out there. I mean, Jason Jacoby, we watched him last season, a very good, successful iRacer, doing a good job here with these guys at Relentless. You got Kevin Jeterich, you got Matt Grunberg, James D. Miller. But let me tell you, if there's anybody out there, when you guys rewatch this broadcast, if you guys have a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel that you race on, let me know. But Chris, if you haven't yet, head on over to JJacoby88, either on Twitch or YouTube. Check him out. But right now, Wade in that number 32 definitely putting the pressure on Chris. Right now he has a little bit of a nose over him, but they even up as they go into the corner and as they come out and head down the backstretch. Right now Jacoby still has it, and they really caught up to that lead pack now. They're definitely putting some pressure onto the bumper of the number 6 of Kevin Dietrich, doing what they have to do. Right now looks like Jacoby's going to take it over. The 32 moves up behind him, goes down into the apron as they cross the start finish line. But there's somebody who we haven't talked about much tonight, Dante Jackson, doing what he has to do. He is the first car one lap down, sitting in 17th, racing with these guys, trying to get his lap back, doing a fabulous job.
Jackson has all the speed, unfortunately mired one lap down, but that 17 trying to get back up around, maybe try and get around the race leader, but I'll tell you, nobody has been able to do that so far. James Miller has this field on lockdown as of this moment. James Miller in the 25. Oh my Lord, yeah, three wide, the 32, the 6, and the 88. They finally break it up, figuring out not a good idea here at Las Vegas, but we were 3 wide. Jason Jacoby in the 88 was on the outside, the 6, Kevin Jeterich in the middle. Wade Houston was trying to push the envelope to the inside. They finally straightened it out, go back nose to tail. Keep an eye on that particular pack. Those 3 drivers battling hard, trying to get to the front of this race. And oh my, 3 wide, Las Vegas, that doesn't work, Rick.
You know, and a lot of times when we see that, Chris, it doesn't work, but these guys made it work. They had to do what they had to do. They were smart. They did break it up a little bit there, but, you know, it just shows the strength of the competition here. These guys are doing a good job. I mean, they're right there doing it again. You got the Jacoby finally got around Kevin Jeterich to take over 3rd position, but Wade's right there in that 32 trying to go around Kevin Jeterich right now. And right now, the only person that is stopping him from doing that is the 88 of Jacoby. They're kind of running the same line. Jacoby's about half a lane up. He's getting ready for next week. And as these guys are going around, Chris, February 8th, we are going to be heading to Dover International Speedway. We're going to see who is going to be taming the Monster Mile. Go up there and see Miles. It's going to be really fun. As we visit Delaware.com 180, that's going to be 180 laps of action at Dover. But hey, listen, first we got to get through Las Vegas, and right now these guys are putting on one heck of a show, Chris.
Jason Jacoby in the 88. He is trying to hold on the 3rd spot. 32 car Wade Houston. Wade is trying to battle it out with Kevin Jeterich in the 6 car. Rick, these guys have done it again tonight. They have ripped my voice apart. Too exciting here tonight at Las Vegas.
Well, between the action on the track, Chris, and the head cold that both of us are going through, it is no surprise. I mean, these guys are doing a fabulous job doing what they have to do. Yeah, the voices are getting cracked a little bit, but hey, listen, we're out here, we're watching some good racing. We appreciate everybody out there in MaxSpeedTV land sitting here with us on Friday night. And right now we got Jason Jacoby. He's still in 3rd place, but he has a lot of pressure by that 32. As the 88 gets right up into the back bumper of the 54, that leaves the number 32 on the inside lane, Chris. Definitely was the right move, as he was able to go around Jason Jacoby there. Now he's working on Matt Gruenberg, and after that, it's going to be the 25 with James Miller, doing a great job out there. These guys are having a lot of fun.
Having a lot of fun? Yes, sir. That is exactly what we're doing here tonight. The Relentless Racing Series putting on a hell of a show here tonight. And the 88, Jason Jacoby, going to the outside. That may open the door for Jeterich, as these guys are running bumper to bumper, Rick, and they have been for about 20 laps here.
They haven't. I mean, they're weaving in and out here. So everybody's pretty much trying to run the same line there. Jacoby moves up, like you said, on the outside. If Jeterich is able to get up on the back bumper, it might help him a little bit. But unfortunately, the draft doesn't quite work like that here at Las Vegas. I mean, it's all about the fastest line. And right now, tonight, it looks like the fastest line around this track is on the inside. 32, you see him go way down there doing what he has to do. You see Matt Gruenberg kind of stays about a half a lane up. James Miller just doing what he has to do to try to keep this gaggle of cars behind him. But man, he's going to be getting some pressure, but he's happy seeing these guys race it out, because that just leaves a little pressure off of him. But right now, that 32 is moving fast up through the field, Chris. Now it looks like the 88 Jacoby. Oh, 32 got a little tap there. What a beautiful job right there by the 32 to be able to control that car, keep it where he needs to do. He's going to lose a little bit of momentum there, Chris. Jacoby moves up into second position.
124.5 miles down of this race, which is 180 miles. These guys are running nose to tail for the first 7 positions. Unbelievable action here tonight on MaxSpeedTV.
Now I want to give massive props out there to the number 17, Chris. Dante Jackson doing everything he has to do to try to reclaim that. I mean, he's in a hard position. He is 1 lap down. He is battling it out with these guys in the leader. That puts a lot of pressure on him, because he doesn't want to be the guy that makes a mistake and bumps these guys out. But let me tell you, he is not giving them any breaks right now. He is doing a great job trying to put those positions down so that way he can get back on the lead lap. He does have some work, but I just want to give massive props out there to Dante, doing a really good job. And I'm not sure exactly what happened, Chris. I see the number 55 car, Steven Dean, got a little bit of damage on that Rogue Energy number 55 Camaro. Looks like he's just coming back onto the track, onto the racing lane. Not sure if he can really get up to speed. He's just staying down there below the apron, Chris.
Yeah, 55 seems like he may be in trouble, as he is continuing to slow that 55 machine down. But up front, no such thing as James Miller on the pedal hard. He must be putting his foot through the floor tonight, Rick, as he is running this thing.
You're absolutely right, Chris. James Miller trying to do everything that he possibly can. Right now, he is protecting the lead. He came into tonight's race number 1 in the points, doing exactly what he has to do right now. He has 2 top 5s so far this season, trying to get his first win of the season. Right now, we're on race 3, so we've had 2 different leaders, or 2 different race winners. Sorry. Kevin Jeterich, the number 6, and the number 54, Matt Gruenberg. So James Miller's definitely trying to add his name to that winning list, and right now he's doing a great job. But he's got the 88 of Jason Jacoby, who also is definitely not somebody who is a stranger to leading and winning races. And right now, the number 88 is trying to catch up to the 25 and put a little pressure on him.
Jacoby is trying to figure out a way to get around James Miller. Jacoby is right on the back bumper, and they have separated themselves from 3rd and 4th spot of Gruenberg and Jeterich. Jeterich right now on the bubble, as he's got the 32 of Wade Hosted. Wade has led many laps of this race, Rick, 26 to be exact, and he is marred back in 5th spot, trying to figure out how to get back to the front of this one.
You're absolutely right, and Jacoby's trying to get his first lap, and it looks like he's going to go on the inside of the 25. He wasn't able to do it that time, Chris, but I bet you in another 1.5 miles, he's definitely going to be putting the pressure on that number 25 to try to take over that lead. Right now, James Miller has led 54 laps of this race, doing what he has to do. His car feels comfortable up there, I'm sure, in a nice clean air. But right now, Jacoby's going to be moving up behind the number 25. Maybe just try to work the draft a little bit, try to get a little bit more speed as they're coming around into the corner right now. Jacoby trying to do everything that he possibly can.
Jason Jacoby to the inside of the 25 of Miller, not able to complete the pass, falls in back behind the 25. Jacoby trying to figure out a way around Miller. They've got
a little bit of lap.
Yeah, I was just going to say they have a lap down car. Jake McDonald just in front of Miller. And McDonald trying to stay just a 1 lap down, not trying to go 2. Miller dives down to the ends, or excuse me, McDonald dives down to the inside in the 15. That leaves Miller to the middle. The 88 of Jason Jacoby hanging right on his rear bumper, about a car and a half behind is Jason Jacoby right now. In third spot, Matt Gruenberg running a good race. He started third, he currently is in third. And Gruenberg, he comes down pit road. He's got the 32 of Hosted right behind him. And in front of him, Jason Jacoby is peeled off. Could this be the last pit stop of the night? It's a little soon, but it would leave about 28 laps, Rick, and that is about a fuel run. These guys trying to plan ahead. Miller trying to get everything he can on track in order to try and complete this race.
You're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, we are definitely close to that time where these guys have to come in. You know, I'm sure we're going to see them get 4 brand new Goodyear tires and a splash of Sunoco racing fuel. We're on lap 93 of 120 right now, so there is still a little bit of racing left here, but they definitely don't have enough fuel to make it all the way right now. James Miller trying to figure out how much fuel he has left in that car. I'm sure he's on the horn with his crew chief, trying to talk to his spotter, saying, hey, what's going on? What are these guys doing? But right now, number 25 stays out, does what he has to do, but I bet you we're going to see him come down another lap or 2.
Yeah, I'm thinking pit stops coming right around the corner as these guys have absolutely blasted what we were told was a fuel run of 27 laps. James Miller has been out there for 32 laps. That 25 car absolutely blasting what we were told was a fuel run, and he is still out there trying to put down some very fast laps because we have some drivers out there who have already taken pit stops, Rick. And the guys that have taken pit stops, they can finish this race. Miller peels off, gives up the lead. Miller coming down pit road for perhaps the last time this race.
You're absolutely right, Chris. And right now, that's going to leave Jeffrey Fisher on the number 60 machine as the race leader. So, Haley, there's your update. Hopefully, Fisher can do what he has to do, try to keep up there, but right now it looks like the number 25 sliding into his pit stall. Chris taking it nice and easy, make sure he gets that lined up just right. I see the right side going up. He's getting 2 Goodyear tires there, and it looks like there's the left side. So 4 Goodyear tires for the number 25 and a tank of Sunoco racing fuel. His service is complete. He is leaving his pit stall and heading back to the racing surface.
Now it's a matter of how much time did he give up by staying out on track, because Matt Gruenberg has been out there on fresh tires for about 3 laps. Matt Gruenberg, now your race leader in the 54.
I see a couple guys going almost 3 wide here, Chris. We had the 17, the 43, and the 70 all racing, doing what they have to do. They settled out right now, but there's Jeffrey Fisher in that 60. He goes on the inside, passing the 70 and the 43, doing what he has to do. Right now, Jeffrey Fisher is now sitting in 9th position, still inside the top 10, doing what he has to do, try to catch back up. But Gruenberg, yes, has reclaimed the lead here in that number 54 machine. Taking time, doing what he has to do. Looks like second place there is just a little ways away. 1.66 or basically 1.7 behind the leader right now. Got a little bit of time to make up, but I don't think the number 32 is done yet, Chris. He's been fast all night, led 26 laps of this race.
Your race leader, the 54, Matt Gruenberg, has a pretty substantial lead right now, 1.583 seconds over Wade Houston. Wade had led the first 26 laps of this race after starting on the pole, and he is now relegated to second. Matt Gruenberg up front in the 54. He's now led 8 laps of this event, and he is looking to try and make it the rest of the way up front. We've got 98 of 120 complete, 22 laps to go.
And one thing the admins of the Relentless Racing Series, Chris, they need to be is proud tonight, because these guys are putting on one heck of a show. I mean, they've done it for the first 2 races. They're continuing on with the 3rd race, man. These guys, this is how I like to end the week, brother. This is a perfect Friday night, being here with you, being here with the drivers of Relentless, doing what they have to do. They put on good shows week in, week out, and this is no different, man. I mean, I'm dumbfounded. It's just awesome how these guys are racing. There's so much respect and everything and talent on the track, Chris. They're all doing their thing. We're getting some new drivers in. I know they're still looking for more, so if you guys are looking to race with these guys, hit up Thomas Wagner and get yourself in here, because these guys put on some great racing, good hard racing, and fairly clean. I mean, honestly, tonight I was a little worried. I mean, Atlanta was pretty hot, Chris, and now we move into another hot track. It's a little bit smaller, but these guys just proving to me that they have what it takes to drive these tracks, man. They're doing an outstanding job. And Matt Gruenberg, once again, dominating tonight, doing what he has to do. Got 10 laps led so far. But Wade, in his inaugural race here with Relentless, doing a great job also. Jason Jacoby moves up to 3rd. Good to see him back once again. Kevin Jeterich, James Miller, everyone.
Laps to go is what the scoreboard says, and Matt Gruenberg up front trying to put this one away. Gruenberg has led 11 laps so far here tonight in Las Vegas, and he is looking to lead the last 20, and he's going to make it 19 as he crosses the start-finish line. Getting that 54 up front is the most important thing, Rick. You can talk points all you want, but it comes down to race wins. If you win more than everybody else, you have a pretty good shot at that championship. And right now, Matt Gruenberg came into this race in 4th spot on the points, and he's looking to advance a little bit further. He's got Verwey and Jeterich and Miller in front of him, Rick.
You're absolutely right, Chris. So this is definitely going to help him. I mean, it is only race number 3 of the season, but hey, a win's a win, man. These guys are doing a great job. A couple of the big movers tonight, though, Chris. The number 60, Jeffrey Fisher, qualified 15th. He's sitting in 7th position. You got Logan Simmons in the number 70. We haven't talked too much about Logan tonight, but he started 11th, sitting in 8th. And these guys are just doing what they have to do. Armando Ortiz got into a little bit of an issue there earlier on to the race in that number 24 machine. He started 18th. He is sitting in 9th right now, moving on up, having a good time. As we start winding down and these laps keep ticking away, Chris, one thing I want to ask all those folks out there in MaxSpeedTV land, I'm going to give you another 5 laps or so. Tell me who you think is going to win this race tonight.
Well, up front, you've got Gruenberg. As you said, Hosted has made his way back up to 2nd. Jason Jacoby running in 3rd. Jacoby has not led a lap here tonight. Would like to change that, especially on the last one. Husted hasn't led a lap for a long time. Ricky led the first 26, hasn't seen the front of this field since then, when we had a caution flag, the 43 of Thomas Wagner, looking to get around the 54. Thomas Wagner on fresh tires, trying to make headway, and he is now going to be scored 1 lap down as Thomas Wagner. Wagner not having the night he was looking for, was blinking quite a bit earlier, Rick.
Yeah, he was. I know Wagner, I believe, down in Pennsylvania doing what he has to do. I mean, they had some pretty heavy weather down there, Chris, and it's unfortunate. If I remember correctly, last week he had a little bit of issue and he was working off his hotspot, if I remember correctly, doing what he has to do. But right now he is working hard to get those laps back and do what he has to do. But the time is ticking because those laps are starting to tick away very quickly, Chris.
I saw a little wiggle out of the 54 as he got down on the white line. Gruenberg can't afford any time loss. Has to stay off from that white line. between the racing surface and the apron. So Grunberg has to be careful. Maybe just a little bit of concentration loss there, Rick. You don't really know. But we have been green flag racing for a very long time here, and it's certainly possible as we start going through the field, just checking positions. James Miller, who has led the most laps here tonight at 60, he is back in 4th spot right now, so he has got some ground to gain in order to try and get back to the front. Not sure with 13 laps if that's going to be enough time. Austin Derbyshire sitting in 6th spot in the 64, and right behind him he's got Jeffrey Fisher in the 60 car, and he's got a couple of lap down cars in front of him, and he gets around the 17 now behind the 24. That's Armando Ortiz. Jeffrey Fisher looking to have a really good finish here tonight in 7th spot right now. Vic Bloom, and I don't think I've actually said Vic's name since the very beginning of this race. Vic Bloom having an outstanding run, sitting in 8th spot. And that Chevy Camaro, Dame Newsom, in the 14 car, he's sitting in 9th. Gabriel sitting in 10th. He rounds out the top 10 in the 16 car, Rick.
He does, Chris. Gabriel doing a good job tonight. He qualified 7th. He is inside the top 10. Well, he is in 10th place. So Ishik doing a really good job there, trying to figure it out. And I've been watching Matt Grunberg, Chris. It seems like he's almost taking a little bit of time. I mean, he's really saving his tires and everything, doing what he has to do. He's not under much pressure, and this is exactly what he wants. You know, he can run clean, do what he has to do, hit his marks. And like you said, I mean, maybe a little wiggle, but like you said, these guys have been racing pretty hard as we have 9 laps left to go, Chris, to end this race. These guys doing a fabulous job tonight, but concentration is something that can, you know, the bug can bite you as you're out there, especially if you're in the front, because you're out there kind of by yourself. And when we do have some lap traffic here, as he's putting a little pressure on the number 55 machine now, Chris, doing what he has to do. Or no, not the 55. I better clean my glasses here. That's number 74 of Wesley Whitfield. Doing what he has to do, though, out there, and that can definitely happen, though. I mean, when you're out there running those laps, you're in the front doing what you have to do. You don't have much pressure from behind. You're just out there for basically what they would call a Sunday night drive on the NASCAR. And but right now, Grunberg doing a really good job. Doesn't have much pressure to deal with. Just out there hitting his marks, having a good time, and ticking those laps away.
Nine laps to go, make it 8 when they cross the start-finish line. Matt Grunberg setting himself up for a very good finish here tonight in Las Vegas. He's got Jason Kutobi. He's about a second behind him in the 88. And Wade Hosted in the 32. His first race here with Relentless, and a very good showing here for Wade.
You know, one thing that's interesting, Chris, we started this broadcast, well, what it's telling me is 100 minutes ago, so that's an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and a half. But man, it feels like we just started this race. These guys are doing such a great job. Good, long, green flag runs. Those laps are just ticking away pretty quickly. And right now, Matt Grunberg is the man to beat. Jason Jacoby moves up second. He's trying to do what he has to do, trying to catch up to that number 54 machine. But we have such few laps left, Chris. It's going to be interesting. He's got to get around those lap cars before he can put some pressure on. But hey, the race ain't over yet. Anything can happen.
Keeping an eye on Jacoby. The gap has closed with 7 to go. Make it 6 when they cross the start-finish line. I don't know if there's enough time, but certainly 0.2 of a second off in that last lap. Jacoby is definitely chopping away at the race leader, Matt Grunberg. Will there be enough time for Jacoby to try and make a run on the race leader of Matt Grunberg? The 88 doing everything that he can, dropping down, getting past lap traffic much faster. The gap now 0.550. Jacoby is trying to close it in that 88. Grunberg has to be paying attention to that rearview mirror as Jacoby's starting to catch up.
You know, Jacoby's going to be in a pretty happy spot, Chris. This is the first race with these guys this season. He missed the first two, but what a way to come back and start the season, Chris. Sitting in second right now and definitely been gaining time on that number 54. If Matt Grunenberg is holding back a little bit, now's the time to go. We got 4 laps left.
The gap now less than a half a second from Grunenberg to Jacoby in the 88. And Jacoby reeling it in with 4 laps. Is there going to be enough time? We're going to keep it right here and watch first and second as Jacoby maybe starting to sniff up some of that draft, trying to get a little closer. Is Jacoby to Grunenberg. That gap now, Rick, just 2.66.
Now, he's definitely been gaining time, Chris, but right now we have 3 laps to go, and it's going to be the end of this race. Does Jacoby have what is needed to get up to Matt Grunenberg and then put the pressure onto him and take over the lead? We are going to find out.
Jacoby to the back bumper now, just 0.166 is Jason Jacoby. We thought it might be done, but Jacoby has other plans in the 88. The 88 is right on the back bumper of your race leader, Matt Grunenberg. Down to the inside is the 88, trying to take the lead, going into turn 1, can't do it, falls back in behind Grunenberg. Grunenberg, the race leader in the 54, with Jason Jacoby in the 88. We've got lap traffic just ahead, shouldn't be an issue with 2 laps to go. Really, it's about a lap and a half, Rick. And here we go, Jason Jacoby to the inside, trying to make a run on the 54. Jason Jacoby trying to figure out a way around. He's going to have 1 more lap to figure it out as they cross the start-finish line. White flag is out. Mike Grunenberg is the race leader right now, going into 1 and 2. Grunenberg up front. He's got Jason Jacoby really trying to figure out a way to do it. The gap is nothing at this point. They're on bumper-to-bumper action as the 88 dives into 3 and 4. Not going to be able to take position on the 54. Right to the rear bumper. The 88 dives down low. The 88 takes it at the line.
Wow. What an outstanding finish right there, Chris.
Jason Jacoby caught the race leader with about 5 laps to go. Was trying to figure out a way to get around him. Finally did it, coming out of the last corner of this race. Jason Jacoby, your race leader. What a finish.
And that's something that I expect out of Jacoby, Chris. I've watched him race a bunch of times. I do follow his YouTube and his Twitch channel, and the kid definitely knows how to drive. What an outstanding job.
An unbelievable finish here tonight at Las Vegas, courtesy of the RRS, the Relentless Racing Series, right here on MaxSpeedTV. Guys, that was unbelievable. If you can't appreciate hard-nosed racing like that, maybe you shouldn't hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, please do hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, make sure you check us out every single night. MaxSpeedTV has something going. And James Miller, I want to talk about him real quick. James Miller has led 60 laps here tonight. He comes home 3rd place. And, you know, I don't think he's going to be disappointed with that. Give us just a moment, guys, as we set up the post-race interviews. We will be right back.
All right, and we are back right now. We're with 3rd place finisher James Miller, and that number 25. We've seen James. You got Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
10-4, I do.
All right, I'm going to get Chris to mute his mic real quick. Okay, no, okay, there we go. We have feedback. That's all I'm saying, brother. There we go. James Miller, man. What an outstanding night tonight. You came in here, you're number 1 in the points, man. You finished third. Tell me a little bit about your race tonight.
Well, I tried to gamble with that first stage, splitting it in half and fighting to the end there, but just the leaders saved enough fuel, and we had a lap early caution, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got tangled up with my teammate and kind of drifted off of 4, so I lost some speed there, but yeah, I tried a different strategy stage 2 because of how long that caution took. We had enough fuel, I could just run it all out, and Matt and Kevin definitely had longer speed there at the end of that, but just kept it on the outside and fought him off to win the stage. So got some bonus points there. Hoping led the most laps tonight, get some more bonus points along with that point for leading a lap. I was really hoping the 2 leaders would run out of fuel or the rare chance of wreck each other, but it was a fun show for the last couple laps. I'm astounded that Jason passed Matt that close to the line. That probably looked really cool. I was a little too far back to get a good look at it, but it was a good car. Just thanks to Jeffrey for bringing me on to the AV Simsport team, and thanks to my teammates for helping me out this race as well.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, turn 4 all night tonight. I mean, that's something that Chris and I talked at the beginning of the broadcast. I mean, as you're coming off 4, it's very easy to get up against that wall. So, no surprise there. I mean, it is, that's something that usually happens at Las Vegas. So, you hitting the wall, I mean, that's, or you didn't even really hit it that hard, but you slowed down a little bit, got in with your teammate, but you did what you had to do, man. You had a really good race. Definitely be proud of that. And yeah, I mean, I wish you were up a little closer there to see Jacoby take over Grutenberg, because that was fabulous. But there we go. Next week we're heading over to Dover. What do you think about that track, bud?
It'll be fun. Remember last season, I went from the back to the front a lot that race, so hopefully we can stay up front this time, and hopefully we can improve from this week and last week and actually get that win.
All right, brother. Well, hey, congratulations on your 3rd place winner. I know you already thanked a couple other people, but is there anybody else on that car you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, just thanks to Grandstand Video for being on the car and watching our broadcast, or watching the broadcast.
Excellent, brother. Well, hey, congratulations. Get ready for next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. One heck of a race, man. Be proud of that.
All right, thank you, guys.
You're welcome. So that's 3rd place finisher, James Miller, number 25. The next person I'm bringing up, Chris, is going to be Matt Grutenberg. Let me just find Matt. There he is down there in one sim. Matt Grutenberg, the driver, remember the 54 machine. You got Chris and Rick up in the booth. You got a copy, brother.
Yep, loud and clear.
Hey, man, tell me a little bit about your race tonight.
Well, we had some ups and downs. We got passed a few times trying to make passes on the bottom. It's just so tough to pass on the bottom all night. We said we got into it with Wade a little bit. He got into me in 1 and 2, so we got back into him in 3 and 4. We set ourselves up for a good finish after the last round of pit stops on 91. I was pretty confident that we'd be able to make it the rest of the way without saving. I had enough fuel at the end, just coming out of 4 there. I thought I had it in the bag. But we just sputtered just entering the tri-oval, and I guess Jason didn't sputter at all, so I guess that was the difference between us two, and he was able to get the win. Hindsight, looking at it, I probably should have just tried to block Jason a little harder out of 4, and then when I did sputter, he could have just gave us a little tap to boost us across the line. We would have got the win. But disappointing finish, not the way we wanted it to end for the number 54 Leggett and Platt Toyota, but it was a good race overall, and a good win to Jason.
Definitely was a good race, man, and it was fun watching you. I mean, tonight you led 30 laps. So, that's something, you also won stage 1. I mean, that's something that we're used to seeing here on MaxSpeedTV. You're a heck of a driver, man. I mean, I know second place isn't where you won the finish, but hey, you did a really good job. You did what you had to do. And unfortunately, at the end, it looks like the 88 just had a little bit more. You did the right thing, though. I mean, you're a really respectable driver, so be proud of that, brother. So congratulations on second place. Anybody out there you'd like to thank?
Just all the 1-sim guys back at the shop, I guess, and then my pit crew for getting me the lead there at the end. Yeah, had a solid pit stop, and you know, we'll load up and we'll get ready for next week.
There you go, brother. Well, congratulations. Enjoy your weekend and get ready for next week in Dover. We can't wait to see what you do there.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. And that was the second place finisher, Matt Grunberg, in the number 54. We got one person left to talk to, and that's the 88. Jason Jacoby. You got Chris and Rick up here in the booth. Do you have a copy, my friend?
Yes, sir, I sure do. How you guys doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing fabulous. Congratulations on your win. I was a little nervous there because I was checking TeamSpeak. I didn't see you in there, so I'm glad to see you in here, man. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I like watching you, you know, on your YouTube and your Twitch channel. Tell me a little bit about your race tonight.
Rick, thanks so much for that, buddy. It was a crazy race because going into it, it was a last-minute deal. Found out I had the night off, so we decided to run it. And, man, I really don't know what to say other than, I guess, all-around crazy race. Rick, I tell you what, though, I ran a bit smarter than I normally do in races because normally you'd see me burn up the tires. Still have some speed left in it, but really, if I had played the strategy, so to speak, that I usually run this race, that I have every other race, I would have ran out of fuel. I would have been there with Matt running out of fuel, and man, it was so fun, though. Loved the close racing we were able to have with almost everybody on the racetrack. Had a chance to get close and almost rub fenders with, and it was a really cool time out there.
I definitely like watching you race, man. I mean, you're a very respectable driver, but usually you're a lot more aggressive. And I was actually talking with Chris there during a couple of breaks, and I was kind of shocked at how not aggressive you were tonight. I mean, it was good. It's your first race back here with these guys. And you came in and you did what you had to do, man. So congratulations on taking first place tonight. Hopefully we see you next Friday in Dover. But right now, is there anybody out there in that car you want to thank tonight?
Yes, sir. Rick, you named it, man. The YouTube channel. Thanks to each and every viewer on my YouTube channel in MaxSpeedTV. Rick, thank you to you for watching, man. I appreciate every single viewer who helps this channel grow, and I look forward to hopefully being there with you guys next Friday. I'm not sure what the schedule holds, but Dover has been a magical track for me, and hopefully we can get something done next week.
Well, excellent, brother. Hey, listen, you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I know you're probably going to be pretty busy there on Sunday with the Super Bowl. And but congratulations again tonight coming out here, taking the win. I mean, you qualified second. You're pretty strong here at Las Vegas. You finished first. I can't even talk. I was so excited. But congratulations, brother. I hope you have a good weekend. And we look forward to seeing more from you this season here on Relentless Racing, brought to you by MaxSpeedTV.
Rick, y'all too, man. Have a great weekend, guys.
You too, bud. And there we go, Chris. I don't know if you're still around. I know you're not feeling the greatest, but just so you know, your mic is muted if you are trying. But that's going to have it there for me with the driver interviews.
Yeah, absolutely, Rick. It was a great race. I mean, there isn't much more to say about it than that. The racing tonight was above par. And Jason Jacoby came home your race winner. Matt Grunberg second. James Miller third. Wade Houston ended up fourth place. Kevin Gieterich in fifth. And honestly, Rick, the names continue on as we've got Derbyshire 6th, Fisher 7th, Bloom 8th, Newsom 9th, and Esk 10th. Simmons 11th, Whitfield coming home 12th, Armando Ortiz coming home 13th, McDonald 14th, Tom Wagner coming home 15th tonight, Lyda 16th, Dean 17th, and Jackson 18th, and Leonard 19th. Rick, I'm kind of speechless. This was a great race and a heck of a good way to spend a Friday night. Can't wait to do it again over at Dover with you, Rick. And for everybody out there watching, thank you very much.
3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Clapman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunke goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drive it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get